But I would say
worse
this
than
is
Iron Man 3.
This was not
Worse
worse
than Iron Man 3?
Not at all. Not at fucking all. You're out of your fucking mind
This is
now.
worse than Iron Man 3.
No, Iron Man 3 is like absolute zero. Like no temperature can get below absolute zero. No Marvel movie can get worse than Iron Man.
She didn't commit murder.
Which she did.
She murdered the absolute shit out of the helicopter.
You can't murder something that's not alive.
Well, apparently you can.
She destroyed the helicopter, which murdered the people inside.
Yeah, okay.
Well, according to Brock, this movie got murdered by the writers.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's. I mean, like Thor 1, and then this.
No, definitely not.
I actually like Thor 1 better, so.
I give Thor 1 a break because that was the first attempt at a supernatural character in the MCU when they were still building it. So Phase 1 movies get kind of a pass from me, or they're judged for their time. But I would say
worse
this
than
is
Iron Man 3.
This was not
worse than Iron Man 3?
Not at all. Not at fucking all. You're out of your fucking mind
This is
now.
worse than Iron Man 3.
No, Iron Man 3 is like absolute zero. Like no temperature can get below absolute zero. No Marvel movie can get worse than Iron Man 3.
There is not one good moment in Iron Man 3.
Not one fucking one.
So you're trying to tell me there's not one good moment?
There's not one good moment in the entire movie.
The goddamn song at the beginning in the intro. That was amazing.
The battle on the bridge.
You
said that was amazing. But now it's not. Just because you want to hate.
It is okay.
He lost his murder argument, so now he's just going to hate on everything.
I'm not going to hate on everything. I mean, I was going to hate on it from the get-go, whether you think I lost my argument or not, but she definitely didn't murder anybody. But the whole point is that is the only, like, semi-cool thing, and they ruin it later.
Okay. But it's cool, right?
Well, it's like...
What was cool about Iron Man 3?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I saw it.
Nothing. You'll still remember the bridge fight.
All the different suits were
however many years passed.
All the different suits were pretty cool.
And then just
all
got
the different
shitted on, like
all the different versions of the suits.
I'm kind of like you though. That movie, I don't remember.
I will never like in 5 years. I'll not remember a thing about this movie because it's not consequential to anything. Like even
you'll remember the bridge fight. And
maybe.
if they
I might remember somebody chopping somebody's head off with Cap's shield too in 5 years, but then I'll also remember that that's a terrible series and I didn't enjoy the most of it. There's that one cool little thing.
Okay. So is it one cool little thing? I ain't one cool little thing about Iron Man 3.
That's true.
That's not true.
It was a fucking Christmas movie in July. Everything was fucking bad about that.
It sets the stage for one of the coolest scenes. It includes Iron Man because you get to see, like, he's got this idea of multiple suits out there. And when we get to see the Hulk Smasher, that idea is, like, at least for the moviegoers, it's planted with the idea of multiple suits out there early. And so it's kind of a cool scene, and it's something that they use to build on. Tell me, I mean, maybe this is something we will have a conversation with in a couple of years, but I don't think there's anything that they can actually build on that'll ever be as cool as the Hulk Smasher fight scene with Iron Man and Hulk. Nothing remotely
Which
close.
didn't happen in Iron Man 3.
It didn't happen in Iron Man 3, but the idea is planted when he has all of those suits come out in battle. Because you think that he's looking at every eventuality.
That wasn't set up in Iron Man 3. That was set up in Iron Man 2. When they use his technology to make all those suits at the Stark Expo and then fight everybody with them. That's where that was set up at. They just stole that from Iron Man 3.
No, but he's not making, because the Iron Man 3 has got versions of suits that do specific things, and they're not doing that. They're making Iron Man suits in 2. They're not making Iron Man suits that one for space, one for deep water exploration, one to fight, one to fight that.
Did they explain that in Iron Man 3? Did they talk about all the suits doing different things? Because I don't remember that at all.
You don't? We'll go back and we'll watch it then.
I don't want to. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's horrible.
But it has more weight. And I could actually think of something that has weight in it, and you agree that the weight of what came out of that is something cool. I don't see any...
No, it come out of Iron Man 2.
I don't think a Marvel movie has to have weight for it to matter. But this movie not having any weight didn't help it because there's a lot of bad parts.
It feels more weightless because her character's gone. We know she's gone. So
It would, to me, if they
if she survived in game, it might not feel as weightless.
Okay, so branch over to Loki for a second. If Loki is dead at the end of the series, and we don't know that for sure or not, but if Loki's dead at the end of the series, and this thing that happens is weightless in regards to him, but there's still weight because it introduces the chick Loki.
Right.
So it didn't have to be weightless, except there was nothing in it that gives it weight. That's the problem.
But no, that's the same argument. It's just inverted here because we're talking about if she was alive, it would have more weight because now all these characters have more things to be tied into and come back to because she's alive and still in the universe and going to move forward.
Sure.
She can bring those characters with her. So it's the inverse of the Loki thing. Like the Loki dying, leaving everything behind, that has weight to it if he dies. And if he's still alive, there's still going to be some weight to carry.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
The fact that, y'all's argument about all these characters what are they going to do with them? The piece that ties them together is gone.
If they would have Revenge of the Sith Taskmaster,
Which,
this
we
movie
got
would have had
Yelena.
a lot of weight.
We didn't have Yelena. Right? We all...
I'm really hoping they're not just setting her up to just be a side character in the Hawkeye show. Because I think she's got a lot of big movie potential.
I don't think they are because
She's the new
of
Nick Fury.
Julia Lewis.
She's the new Nick Fury. She's like the evil Nick Fury is what I think she's going to be.
She's setting up her own Avengers. Like, she's got her Black Widow. She's got her Cap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we got to get... I don't know who she's going to... who's next. Like, what we're going to see next.
Yeah.
Now, had Taskmaster been Revenge of the Sith, how would it have changed your viewpoint of this movie?
Catch me up on what you're thinking there exactly.
So, all right, Taskmaster, kind of like what I was saying earlier, gets hit with the red smoke. Black Widow realizes she's not being mind controlled. She really does hate me this much. So we still get evil Taskmaster or bad Taskmaster at the end of this movie. How would that have changed your effect or your viewpoint on this movie and the weight of this movie? Because I agree with you. They everything got tied up too much. So everything that was introduced in this movie was resolved in this movie. So what was the fucking point of this movie in the greater MCU?
Yeah, that's a really, really poor example of a movie when you don't have to tie up a bow and sign it off. You don't have to do anything. Like, you need to actually leave threads out to the greater world and you tie it up. That's what makes it bad.
So if Taskmaster would have stayed Taskmaster by the end of this, how much would that have taken this out of a bad movie to you to a mediocre movie, or would it still be a bad movie?
Yeah, they would have to change some stuff for sure to make that viable. So it probably would have increased the value of the movie. I just don't see the value of the movie. Like, I didn't enjoy the connection with the family because I felt like they were just setting the stage to introduce characters, and they wanted you to care about the characters that Black Widow cared about, and then it's almost like they did the opposite with Cobra Commander, and they wanted you to care about her and see her like rescued.
Yeah, and that was
when we first see him and they stick the chip in the back of Taskmaster's head. I was like, oh, it's a fucking android. That's sweet. Because I was curious as how they were going to do it because in the comics I'm like 90% sure he's a mutant.
Yeah,
and that's how he can read everybody's and learns everybody's moves and can immediately
Well, then, they could just explain that with the Stark kind of tech, because that's what he uses Jarvis to learn
Cap's
moves, because Cap is sort of got that same ability where he can not necessarily learn your moves and beat you, but he just can outthink you. Like, he's that free flow of ability, and so like it's just a variation of the same thing that it didn't make any sense for it to be so weak in execution in the MCU.
Yeah, but I would have rather it stay an android than the daughter reveal, because even as an android, like, even though the whole thing comes crumbling down or whatever, like, oh, my goal is still to finish this mission or whatever, and then maybe
it'd been locked in with whatever the last mission was.
And then not Brand. I keep wanting to say Agent Brand, but that is the sword girl. Whatever Julia's character's name is, get a hold of it and get a new command in there, a new mission for it.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, anything other than just the daughter, because that kind of